Galvin there making an SNL movie. Did you see that?
About SNL?
Yeah,
or...
like the how it started and the whole creation with Lauren Michaels creating it. Yeah, they cast a lot of people in it, none of which I really recognize, except Rachel Sennett plays one of the writers that was married to Lauren Michaels. The kid from Licorice Pizza plays, I think, Brandon Tartikoff or one of the NBC executives. And I'm trying to think of anybody. The guy who plays John Belushi is a newcomer. I don't recognize him.
I was just listening. David Spade and Dana Carvey had Joe Piscopo on their
really?
podcast. Yeah, and their podcast, if you haven't heard it, it's all SNL related. So it's people who have been on there or hosted or had something to do with SNL. But he was talking about how whenever he got it, he said he didn't really want it because it was after the first cast. And he goes, whoever goes in there is going to get murdered. Like, you can't go in after that all-star, unbelievable first cast and think that you're going to do well. You know, and he said that the first season, after the first season, they're like, okay, you're out, you're out, you're out. They kept him and Eddie Murphy.
I mean, can you name any other people?
Yeah, Tim.
The little guy?
Yeah.
Kazurinsky?
Gilbert Godfrey.
Oh, yeah.
Was on there. It was a few other people that you do know. Yeah, some maybe you don't know, whatever. But it was really interesting the way that it happened. And he was like, I forget what producer he said. One of the guys, he was like, and good for him recognizing, he goes, hey, not me, but recognizing that you have Eddie Murphy, a guy who, you know, is one of the greatest of all time.
And was so young at the time.
Yeah, he was like 19 when he first got it.
Yeah. You got to watch that documentary with Kevin Hart and Chris Rock.
Yeah, I saw it.
And he's talking about their, when they were like Chris Rock's brothers were like, he would go and be on TV and do all this stuff. And Eddie Murphy said the same thing. He would go and do all this stuff, and then he'd come home and sleep in the bed next to them in the room. That's got to be a weird feeling. I wonder what the money was like back then. But then it was a cheaper world to live in, so they probably just didn't make that much money. It wasn't a huge thing yet, you know.
Yeah. But I mean, it helps, you know, because if you're on Saturday Night Live, you're getting that money, whatever. But it also helps if you're doing stand-up, you know, from Saturday Night Live. Yeah, sells tickets. And then, of course, if you come up with the character and Lauren says, we should do a movie with that, you know, make it into a movie. Which, by the way, at the time, it was Dick Ebersol that was the...
That's who I meant, not Brandon Tartikoff, Dick Ebersol.
Well, Tartikoff was involved in that as well, though.
Yeah.
But Ebersol was the one who was producing and doing the stuff. And Joe Piscopo said, because if it would have been Lauren at the time, the Whiners probably would have had their own movie. Remember the Whiners? People love the Whiners.
Yeah. Oh, I tell you, I remember when I was a kid not getting a lot of that stuff. Like, my mother loved it, and my family would talk about it, and I just didn't get it and think it was funny. And I never liked Gumby, you know, the Eddie Murphy Gumby one, but I loved the Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, there was a lot of funny stuff. I got to tell you, Jim Belushi, what a chance he took, because you're coming in after your brother, who is the biggest star, and he died and stuff, and you're like, oh, they have a stupid brother. But Jim Belushi was really good on Saturday Night Live.
He was a different good. He was good as a utility white guy as opposed to being the next Jim Belushi. John Belushi.
Do you know how many times we would walk around, I'm white, I'm extremely white.
Yeah,
and that's
white
all
guy's
right?
wife.
Yeah.
That's right. I walk with my butt extremely tight.
Totally. And then one of the funniest ones was whenever they were doing the man on the street thing and the reporter, and he said, in America, every 11 seconds, a man is mugged. And we have that man right here. It is Jim Belushi, and everybody kept coming up and mugging him every 11 seconds. It was hilarious.
Well, the movie, I hope the movie's good. It seems like they went and got some relatively new actors so that it could be believable and that it can really be a good project as opposed to just being like this new Eddie Murphy Beverly Hills Cop movie looks awful.
You know who would be great? I don't know whether he's involved or not, but Aaron Sorkin, because he did that studio on the Sunset Strip, Studio 60, and that was basically Saturday Night Live.
That was great, and it was written so well, and then that was one of those shows that just disappears. You're like, I'm in the middle of a season here.
Yeah.